Straight down the middle towards Hallis, as he's in position to spoil. Raving is Nicolo. He leaves it. Directly in front, Dino Seno. Opening goal for the Bull Ants. Comes up after 5 minutes.
Yes, and it's so characteristic of Preston, isn't it? The small players, the kick to Hallis there at centre-half foot under a lot of pressure from Jack Aziz, but once the ball spilled out, Dino Seno was there and he's got such a sharp left foot. There's Hallis working hard, front position. And the Preston little men, they are so dangerous when the ball hits the deck close to goal. And he puts it straight over the top of the umpire's head.
Smith spoiled it by Lumachisi. Prideaux, prominent early. Marcon, unable to get there, but has it been touched? Made sure of by Nicolo, but it's a goal. Kicked by Prideaux, outside 50. And Mitchell and his opponent really taking one another out of it there, Marcon. In fact, he's kicked it from inside the square. And David Prideaux gets the second.
He sized the situation up very intelligently. Prideaux saw that there was nothing in offering further afield and drove the ball long. And he saw that the goal face was unattended. And a bit of luck, Phil.
Yes, but G. Marcon worked well too there, Sam, didn't he?
Don't know whether that's quite the collective down, but anyway, we're at 50 metres for Preston, and here's Joe Lumachisi with an open goal in front of him. He didn't even need it. It went through on the full. And Preston's favourite for the J.J. Liston Trophy, Joe Lumachisi, further increases that lead with Williamstown scoreless after 20.5 minutes.
Well, he kicked a great goal in the first round encounter between Williamstown and Preston at Willie to put Preston in front and eventually clinch the game. And look at this one. Riding it off the pack beautifully. About 40 metres, and the umpire just steps aside and says, yes, that is a goal.
Well, it'll be the elimination final if they don't get a wriggle on, Williamstown.
Preston are just getting in first for the ball.
And with only 3 goals kicked, it was a fairly short quarter. All the action happening up the northern end, and Preston 23 points up at quarter time with the goals from Seno, Prideaux and Jordan. And Williamstown just have a behind to show for their 27 and a bit minutes effort of the first term. But it's Preston looking good after a quarter to finish with the minor premiership. Barry Round, a bit of work to do at quarter time. The end of the game, we'll be naming our man of the match for the 18th occasion this season. Whatever our selection, put it on the back of an envelope with your name and address. Get it to the VFA by last mail on Wednesday, and you will be in receipt, if your entry is drawn out first, of $200 from Mazda Australia. And last week, our man of the match was a man we've seen held so far today, Jamie Shaw. A magnificent performance at full forward. Cross goal, normally dangerous, but there are plenty of options out there. And it's Pritchard bouncing it up to Nicolo. Good persistence from Chris Burton. Swan. Round back to Morney. I don't know if he was going for goal or trying to get the distance on the pass. It's a major. Well, I don't know what Miles was doing. He should have gone straight for the goals there, looking to be unselfish. And it's claimed by Hall that he touched it, but Leighton Miles gets his second goal and a good start for the Seagulls.
Certainly keen to play on, Phil, wasn't he? We'll see it here on screen. Round which the handball out quickly to Morney. Morney onto the foot. And Miles unattended from only about 25 metres. But he must have had a doubt as to whether he could have got the distance.
He's looking for that handball to Jack Aziz or Howlett there. And I think they've made a couple of moves, Williamstown. Chris Burton looks to be on Nicolo on a half-back flank.
O'Connor trying to get Williamstown out of the middle again. Lumachisi, good running from Pritchard. Dunbar, long but straight to Mitchell. Pressure from Marcon. Seno comes in, strength. Good tackle at the end by Mitchell. Hallis with strength. Nicolo kicks his second goal, and again a quick reply from Preston.
That was pretty ordinary play by Williamstown there, Sam, wasn't it? I think Shane Hallis, I don't know whether he put a bit of doubt in their minds, but should have attacked the ball harder. And he goes right through, and I see David Willis is now picking up Hallis, and Hallett's on the forward line along with Aziz. Could have gone for attack, Williamstown.
There's no
They should have got out
doubt.
of that.
There's no doubt that Hallis was instrumental in the goal. In that second quarter, I didn't mention it, but on 3 occasions he dived into a pack and knocked the ball out with just his presence and his weight and his strength. He's just a valuable, well, he's certainly the most valuable player in Preston's side.
For him. Shaw leads towards centre half forward. He chooses Seno instead, who almost brought it down. Hallis spinning out of trouble. Back to Seno. Good hook on the ball. Marcon.
Held.
Oh, I don't know whether they're holding each other. Play goes on. And it's Lumachisi who's put it through. Well.
And he didn't bother with the drop punt either. He punted that ball through. Torpedo, and a great piece of play.
And good umpiring too to allow the play on.
Yes, we'll see it here. Marcon being held, and that's the value of trying to get in front. And look at Dino Seno on it, and the others are standing. And there she goes. Torpedo. Great goal. It won't do his list and chances any harm either.
Yes, Lumachisi getting his second.
Been after last week that they've seriously been looked upon as a premiership threat, and I think after today they'll take outright favouritism, Phil.
Someone said they wouldn't get the double chance.
Who was that?
I think it was me back on July 22nd.
You're a big man, Ross.
Thanks,
That's what I like about you, your honesty.
Miles ridden into the ground.
And the fact that Port Melbourne would make the 5.
That's right.
Sorry.
I'll make up with Harkins winning the list. Howlett over to Swan. Again, not kicking on his left, but on his right. Making hard for Aziz. Keeps it in play. Morney being very quiet. Over McGowan's head. Now a chance. Michelli. Can he gather his feet quickly enough? And goal, yes.
Well, the goals are coming a bit easier in this, the third quarter. Williamstown not out of the game, but gee, they've got a big task ahead of them. It's good effort by Michelli, who's been very quiet. He's almost tripped up, decides not to kick it off the ground. Quickly onto the boot.
And the viewers, that gives the viewers a good indication of just how difficult these conditions are.
The big fist away. Pritchard, oh, should have done better. Morney, Williamstown led in. O'Connor, back to Aziz. Lines up the goals. Will it dribble close enough? No, there's a mark to Michelli.
Well, that was a better passage, Phil, more direct, wasn't it?
Well, they ran the ball, Sam, and carried it with effective handball rather than being line to line. You know, we've been praising Preston, but Williamstown a goal here. They could get themselves right in amongst it.
Fifth kick for Michelli and second goal in the quarter. As they hit back.
Yes, that was probably their most impressive passage of play for the entire game. Quick hands, ending in as the ball with Aziz, who kicked long on his left foot, and Michelli. Well, he'd proven a bonus up front.
Well, he was well held in the first half by Owen, but he's just broken away for 2 goals, and we saw him a couple of weeks back kick 6 in the TV game. And he's got great fitness, Rod Dunbar.
16th possession. And Shaw's in good position and it's held. Umpire Lawler had a fine view.
Yes, and when he gets that big bulk in front, he's almost nigh on impossible to get around. And Lloyd, who's played a superb game, but on this occasion was found wanting.
The margin is 4 goals, you can see in the background.
Well, he's called Jamie Shaw around, and Jamie Shaw has not moved an inch.
Yes, he has, the other way. Ahead of you of the goal.
Well, he's gone about 3 feet the other way.
He's almost dead in front now.
No, the umpire said it's in your advantage, Jamie. No, he's right. Oh, well, the man on the mark didn't move.
Crowd like it. 5 goals now, the margin.
Back to 5. It's, you know, whilst Williamstown have lifted a notch in an endeavour to get back into the game, they've been counted on each occasion by Preston. It's been goal for goal, 3 goals apiece.
And there wasn't much doubt about the free kick either.
No.
Simon Lloyd caught short, half a yard behind Jamie, knowing that he was going to mark the ball. A bit of pressure on. And as Peter G called it, he was entitled to step around, and Jamie took full advantage of it.
Strength from both men. Hunt gets some support from Pritchard. Away go the Bullants. Listen to the crowd lift. They're reveling in this Preston supporters. Everything going right for their team for the last 10 weeks. Nicolo off the carpet. Lumachisi. Oh, beautiful. Jamie Shaw can run right up to the line. Fourth for Shaw. And I think we can say Preston are home and hosed.
And wasn't that terrific wet weather football, Phil? Just shows you the value of kicking the ball off the ground. There was no time to stoop and pick it up.
He summed it up, didn't he?
Yeah, summed it up very well.
It wasn't a bad kick off the ground either, was it? Shaw didn't even have to move.
Well, a name like Joe Lumachisi,
you'd expect it.
Know something about the caper. Lumachisi to fly with Mitchell. Nicolo. Heard calling back there from Gillard. There's the fullback Pritchard.
Just got all the answers, Preston, haven't they, Phil?
Well and truly, Sam.
Williamstown have their score doubled with 1/4 of play left in the battle for top spot, and the home side would look to have done enough, but don't write Williamstown off. We'll see what sort of form they can take into the final series here in the final quarter of the home and away season for these two clubs. Preston with 4 goals from Shaw, 2 from Seno, Lumachisi and Nicolo. Prideaux a single, and for Williamstown, Michelli, Miles 2 apiece, Howlett and Swan 1, but it's a 39-point lead for Preston at 3/4 time.
And for 3/4, we have shown that we are the better side. Hunter, fantastic effort. They are the sort of team things that we ask of each other week in, week out, and that was a perfect example of someone who put himself on the line, dived on that ball, held it in, and there was no way you were going to let that go, were you, Gia? No way. Forward line still very lively, but we started to sneak into some old habits that quarter and just crowd that forward line. We've got to move up the ground, then move back, particularly this quarter into the wind. Right, fellas, it's come down to this. Half-time I asked for 30 minutes of hard football, and I still don't think we've given our best 30 minutes for this game. I still think that there's something still being held back within all of us, that we can pull out this quarter. We've increased our lead that quarter, which we asked of, but still not by enough for us to say we've got this game. We've got to attack. That first 10 minutes is crucial. We've got to attack. We've got to make the ball our object. No silly free kicks. You can see they're paying the kicks for blokes just lying on top of others in a stupid way. We got a few against us for doing that. We got a few our way later in that quarter. Must be first in for the ball. That's rule number 1.
Neil Jordan calling on for a supreme effort to end the home and away season. They really should get the week's rest so they can give it their all here and really go into the finals as the favourites to win the flag. They can really ram it home here against Williamstown, who are looking to make up for disappointments in the past 2 seasons. It looks like all they'll get from today is disappointment unless Barry Round can bring something out of them in this last term. Miles. Round, almost dispossessed by Lawson, who went for the mark. That shows you the confidence of Preston. Lumachisi gave it straight to Swan. That's what Willie wanted. Bill Swan, his 2nd goal, similar type goal too. Snagging it quickly to his boot.
Been a good contest between Swan and Dunbar. Dunbar, I think, been more effective with the ball, but Swanee's always in there with a chance and close to goal. Over the years, he's a very effective player.
Been on the bench for a 1/4.5. Gets his chance now. Smith the spoil. Seno, that looked a bit suspect too. Hallis quickly on to boot. Dunbar used his pace, read it well. Spears it back to Seno. Steadies and puts it up towards Marcon. Good gather. Still in attack, Nicolo, and how they managed something out of that, out of nothing. to Dunbar, who's run from the centre, involved in getting the ball out there in the first place.
Well, it's interesting there because Bill Swan was probably outside 50 and Dunbar, his man, was kicking a goal from the goal square. So really, you know, they're playing fairly wide of each other. I think Dunbar's been the more effective on the day, and this is good play. Gee, look at that. Dunbar running right down to the goal square, and great piece of work.
And while all that was taking place, Phil, Howlett's been taken from the ground and Morney's been brought back onto the field.
And knocked it down to Willis. O'Connor. Morney against two. It's Pritchard over the top with a fist.
Played their percentage as well, Preston. Punched when they've had to. Always had numbers. 2-on-1 there in the goal square. Pritchard and Burrows against Morney.
Ball over the top. Burton's tap. And they can't even get a final goal, Williamstown. It's a jubilant Preston, and so they should be. The minor premiers for season 1990, the week's rest. And in a very even season, they have stamped themselves as the favourites to win the premiership. 10 wins in a row. Neil Jordan's team have not been beaten for 3 months. And he must feel very proud with their achievement so far. The big one awaits them. It has been a comprehensive performance here this afternoon. Never really challenged. Barry Round.
Desolate figure.
Yes, Sam, about
Peter.
3-4 weeks ago they were looking good, Williamstown. They've only won 1 game in a month now, so they must be thinking that disappointment might be again in store for them in season 1990. But really, we must pay credit to Preston. Financially in dire straits, they have been for 4 or 5 years now, and they have just pulled together.
They're akin to a Liverpool following, aren't they, Pete?
They've always had a good band of supporters, and they've stuck with them in difficult times, and it'd be good to see them get out of the financial drama. Well, they get themselves established.
There's no compensation for spirit, is there?
No.
Phil.
And there's the Bulland faithful, very happy about the win. So they should be.
Well, it was a 38-point win for Preston against Williamstown to complete their home and away season. And here's Ross Booth with the Wards Express man of the match.
Well, you'll recognise this face, the player-manager of Preston Football Club, Neil Jordan, and Robert Slade from Wards Express to present you with a tankard first in, Neil.
Congratulations on a great game, Neil. And on behalf of Wards Express, I'd like to present you with the Wards Express trophy.
Very much.
And Neil, of course, Jamie Shaw had the car last week, and there's the keys to the Mazda. I don't know, you might have driven it this week anyway. So
Bring it back in one piece for you. I'd like to thank, before we go on, Wards and Mazda for their great support during the year and for these awards today.
Well, firstly, a couple of questions about your own role as a player. A great game. You've had a very good season. Battling in the ruck with Barry Round there a lot.
Yeah.
Your old foe.
Yeah, he's a marvel, Barry, and full marks to him. And you know, it's amazing how he can go for that long, because I'm a bit buggered at 27. I don't know how he is at 40 or whatever. But it was a good duel all day. It was a well-fought game. It played in a good spirit, and I think the best team won on the day, that's for sure.
Now, apart from your own game, and looking now at Preston, we're talking during the match about that draw you had against Dandenong back in round 8, and you were involved in that, sort of kicking the ball backwards and drawing the match, and we thought at the time it might have been very costly, and now you've ended up on top. Did in your wildest dreams believe you'd end up on top of the ladder?
Oh, to be honest, no, Ross. I'd set the sights at the start of the season that would finish in the finals, and after our bad start I thought, well, we've got it cut out to make it, and then we set ourselves little goals as we went along to make the finals, then for the double chance, and then everything else fell into place, so it's been great.
It has been terrific. Well, Neil, we'll let you go with the players, and we'll come in and have a chat with some of the players shortly. Neil Jordan, player of the match.
Well, looked like being out of contention after a couple of early season losses, and then to rebound the manner in which they did, it's been a tremendous credit to them. And look at that scene.
And really, there's no, if they had to play next week, you might say to the players, look, just tone it down a little bit. A big job to do next week, but why not let the crowd enjoy this, the players enjoy it. They've got a week's rest.
They should savour this one.
Well, it's been a minor miracle that they've ended up on top of the ladder. Like, they've had to win 10 straight virtually to get there, and that's a great effort. But as we were saying, there's plenty of talent in that side. It isn't just spirit. They're very well balanced. got a lot of speed. They used the ball extremely well, and that man there, Shane Hallis, I think he's the key to their finals chances, because he takes a very good player out of the game so often, and he sets up the path for the small players. Great VFA player, Shane Hallis, and a premiership player.
That's the worst part of football. Well, we're in the winners' rooms with Ross Booth.
Well, thanks, Peter. Well, we've got Shane Hallis, of course. Sam will enjoy this interview. And you're pleased, of course, to get off last week from attempted striking.
Yeah, there wasn't much in it, I didn't think, and got off, and great to win today. I think it's a credit to all the boys that at the start of the year, everyone wrote us off that we weren't a chance for the finals, and even a couple of weeks ago, you blokes in there said, oh, no chance for the double chance, and I think we've proved a lot of people wrong today, and I think we'll go on with it.
You've had an interrupted season yourself with injury. What was it, a hamstring you had earlier in the year?
The hammy wasn't too good at the start of the year, and I couldn't get it right, but it's feeling good at the moment. But the knees, they're a day-by-day proposition, so...
You like the wet?
I don't know about like the wet, but... No, I thought it was a great effort today, and I'm wrapped in the boys how they fought it out to the finish, and as I said before, we're a big chance this year.
Just what is it about the nature of Preston? Because you've really got the same sort of side you had 3 years ago when you finished third, I think, from memory. I mean, you haven't got an influx of players?
No, we've basically got the same side that we had 2 years ago, and I don't know what happened last year. There was probably a downfall from the year before where we had a lot of problems with payments and all that sort of gear, and Jordo's been a great influence to the guys this year. Everyone likes him, and I think that's basically what it is. It's all the friendship down here, and we're all together. You can just see what's
yes, and it's good
for now, can't you?
It's good to see you drink that Coke too, Shane. Well done.
I'm off the beer.
Good idea. Now here's a little fellow that some people are saying. We had some highlights of Joe Limachese at half-time. They're saying you're a possibility for the Liston. Have you heard that rumour?
Everyone there's a chance, I suppose.
Bit of a chance, of course. You've got lots of little mates. Oh, that looks very good, doesn't it? It suits you. Now, did you have a ride in the Mazda this week in the red?
No, I didn't actually. Sure, he made a mess of it, I think. So.
Well, perhaps Neil can give you a drive this week.
For a spin, no worries, yeah.
You've had a very good year, though.
Yeah, pretty good year this year. Had a big pre-season, and the boys make it easy when they're putting in, so it's great.
And Adrian Markham, why does he always start the season late? Does he play cricket?
He doesn't like the hard work of pre-season, so he just blends in when everyone else has done the hard stuff.
You might ask Adrian that question. Here's a couple here. Glenn Hunt. Glenn? You're back line today, but you spent much of the year ruck roving. Why the move to the back line?
I think Jordo wanted a bit of a run on the ball, and just to get the ball out the centre a bit easier with the bit of height of Jordo, and I'm quite happy down the back line. I've got all my mates around me, they're always backing me up, and we're a good, hard system down there.
Now I can spot Adrian Markon over there. Adrian, coming out. I believe Adrian Markon, he's always wanted to win the Mazda. Someone said you were playing for the Mazda. I think that was a bit unkind. Why do you... Someone said you were playing for the Mazda. You're desperate to win on the TV games. That's not true, is it?
I know, just a good effort by all the boys today. You know, they've been putting in the last 8 or 10 weeks, really. We've had a job to do, and so far we've done it. But still got a long time to go yet, Roscoe. So finals are a different game. So
apart from Morris Denton, you'd almost be the smallest player in the VFA, would you?
Oh no, Joey's about 3 inches shorter than me.
Joey Limachese. I was standing next to him before. And you've played all over the ground, back pocket, rover. What back pocket? I mean, you're one of those dashing sort of players, and of course you might be in line for Mark of the Year with that one you took last week.
Oh, I don't know about that, Roscoe. Jordo had to go at me about going up for that. He come up to me in half-time. He said, "Don't go up for any more." So, but Jordo and Ace Fremantle have done a fantastic job with the boys this year. You know, Ace, has trained us really well, really hard. Training hasn't been easy, sorry. And he's put a lot of fitness into us, and I suppose we're reaping the benefits now, really.
Good on you, Adrian. Look, I'll ask Craig Lawson a final question here. I think, Craig, Who do you think will be your major rival or major opponent for the flag? Who do you rate as the toughest to beat? So now that you've finished in top spot.
Well, I reckon definitely Coburg. Definitely, they've had a few injuries, and they've got those players back now. And we've sort of based ourselves working as they're the measuring stick through the whole year, let alone that they've lost those last few games, but they'll be definitely the side to beat at Coburg.
Well, I'm sure Phil Cleary would be very pleased to hear that, but Craig Lawson thinks that Coburg are still their toughest opponents. But it might be an opportune time to look at the highlights of the last quarter of Preston's great win.
You've got an important game, Phil.
Oh, well, I mean, get out to the City Oval, Coburg tomorrow. You Coburg supporters, give us a bit of moral support. We've been struggling a little bit, I can tell you.
I think you could go to any game in the VFA tomorrow and see a ripper.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see, as Lawson mentioned, you're still the measuring stick. We've still got a healthy respect
smile
for
when you say that to me.
We certainly know the character of Coburg. It's really going to be tested tomorrow and into the final series. And Preston have shown us what character they've got. Williamstown, they have to show us.
Gee, they've been disappointing, haven't they? The last 4 weeks, they've had a golden opportunity of really cementing that double chance or the top posse, and they've faltered. So they've really got a question mark over them, Peter.
Well, we'll see them in action next week, either in the elimination or qualifying final. It's a double-header, Saturday, Sunday. And the elimination final will be played at Port Melbourne. Both the games played at Port Melbourne. On Sunday, it's the qualifying final. Join us live for both of those Saturday afternoon, and we'll know 5 o'clock tomorrow who will be playing.
Thank you.